Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trading with Ashley show. Are you getting ready for all of the excitement that Christmas brings? I know we sure are. I want to know in the comments what some of your favorite holiday traditions are. I might adopt some of them for my own family. One of the things that I love to do is we love to do a scavenger hunt with our adult children and their presents. So I've got 4 kids. I take 4 different wrapping papers and we wrap their gifts in the 4 different wrapping papers. Now, they don't know which one is theirs, so they can't go sneaking in and looking to see if it's their gift or not. What we do is we do a scavenger hunt with the legend of all the different wrapping papers, and they have to go and search for the legend. And then once the legend is found, then they can go match up their gifts with the paper. So it's just a fun thing to do, and it adds just a gamified element to Christmas. I would love to hear some of your favorite traditions. But today, I want to talk about how you prepare your portfolio for the eventual downturn that will happen at some point. And I hope those of you that have been trading and making a lot of good money this year, that you are starting to cash up. On the Fear and Greed Index, we just got into the greed category. And then we moved into there fast because we were just looking at this a few videos ago, and we were in neutral. And then right before that, we were in fear, even extreme fear. So that's how quickly things can change. And this week and next week in particular, we have mainly the retail traders that are driving the market right now. And like I've shared with you before, when the cat's away, the mice do play. Now, retail traders, we're the mice right now, and we are driving the market up. But you want to use the current environment with a low VIX to actually go and purchase insurance for an eventual spike. And I'm going to show you something that we did today in the community, and this may help you prepare your portfolio. Speaking of end of the year, getting your portfolios ready, here's some things that you might want to consider. So if you have trades that are just dead weight, they're not doing anything, and you don't have anything that's a tailwind that could push them up in the immediate future, you might want to consider tax loss harvesting. That's where you go ahead and cut some of your losses, and those losses in a taxable account can be used against your gains, and that lowers your tax liability. Now, you always want to talk to a CPA, and of course, if you're trading within a Roth, well, you don't have to worry so much about taxes, but that's something that can really help a lot of you save some potential money. The other thing you want to consider is raising cash in an environment where we have greed on the Fear and Greed Index and a low VIX. That means cashing up on your winners and putting the stockpile together of cash that you will use eventually when the VIX spikes. Now, most of you that follow me, you're option sellers. So when the VIX spikes, you can usually get some incredible premium on some sold puts, but you need to have the cash available to actually make those trades. Other trades that you can make, if some of your favorite stocks that have really good fundamentals and really good financials, if they drop dramatically low, you can go buy skits and leaves and usually do really well on the V-shaped recovery when it happens. So those are some things that you want to consider, but none of it will matter if you don't actually have the cash. So use this time to start putting your accounts in order and getting that cash pile built up. Now, I am going to take you into the computer and I am going to show you VIX, the volatility index. I'm going to show you where it is today. And based on what I purchased as insurance, I'm going to show you what it could potentially pay if we have another volatility event that gets the market all nervous again. All right, let's go into the computer and see what I have in store for you today. For those of you that are new and you haven't seen this dial yet, this is the Fear and Greed Index. There's an app you can put on your phone, or you can go to CNN Fear and Greed and you'll be able to see this. Now let's look at what it's telling us. So when the market enters greed, this is when we consider starting to cash up. And if it gets to extreme greed, this is when I ensure that I have my full 30% cash to the side so that I can take advantage of when this dial comes all the way back down here. Now, every time we're in extreme fear, that's when I deploy all the cash sitting on the sidelines, because this is when I am getting stocks at their cheaper prices. Playing the market this way does follow Warren Buffett's teachings. It talks about being fearful when everyone else is greedy, being greedy when everyone else is fearful. So if you do it that way, if you play it that way, usually you can do pretty well in the market. Now let's go look at the VIX specifically, and let's look at how it's trading, and then I'm going to show you how you can potentially consider trading it. Here we are on Yahoo Finance, and we are looking at the VIX, the Volatility Index, and this measures fear in the market. And this is important to note because when it's low, typically your stocks are higher. So if you look at this right now, you can see different moments where we've spiked in volatility. Going back to October 17th, we had a big spike in volatility. Also, if you look at November 20th, about a month later, we had another spike in volatility. But if any of you remember all the tariff talk, look at this. We had really big spike right here. This got us up to about 60, and this was back on April the 7th. I had actually purchased leaps this day on the Qs, and those ended up paying me over $300,000 just a few months later because of the V-shaped recovery. So I always like to look at taking advantage of the market when the VIX spikes. Now, if you are going to be purchasing calls, then you're going to be overpaying for them, but if you're getting them cheap enough based on the pricing, then it makes sense, like what I had done on that particular day. But looking at this, we are down at the bottom right here of the Bollinger Band, and right now we're 38 on the RSI. So if we go next week and we're continuing to do just fine, we don't have the institutions back in the game, retail traders are still, driving the market, then we could see this drift down even further. But eventually something's going to happen to shock the market and volatility will rise. Well, that's where the insurance I purchased today will come in handy. So let me take you into the broker right now and show you what to look for, and then I'm going to take you into an option calculator to show you potentially how much it will pay you if we do have this spike in volatility. For this, I'm going to bring you to Robinhood. They allow you to actually do your call options or your put options on the VIX, which I love that so much. So here we are right here, and if you are going to buy insurance, you want to buy a call because you're thinking that this will spike at some point in the future. Now remember, the volatility is low right now, so these are not near as expensive as they will become when everyone's nervous. So when I have the opportunity to buy calls on the VIX, I do like going out as far as possible because my intent is to cash in on this, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So if you go out further on the chain, then it gives you time. They are more expensive if you go out further, but this is insurance, so okay, paying a little bit more so that time decay doesn't eat up my trade before it's ready. So when you go to the option chain in Robinhood, you want to do buy, call, and there's my expiration date. When you're looking for which one to purchase, you can look at a variety of factors. Typically, I like to stay between 0.6 and 0.8 on my deltas. That seems to be a good sweet spot for being able to maximize the returns, but not overpay for it. So you've got a few options here. You can look right here at 14. You could look at 14.50. You could either go down to 13. I mean, you can see here how the prices change the lower you go. Now, the lower you go, the higher your deltas. This is going to give you more of a push up, but you're kind of front running it. You're paying a little bit more on the front end for a little bit more on the back end. So this is how you do it. I had selected at the time 14.50. Let's go to an option calculator, and I'm going to show you how it will potentially increase if the VIX spikes again. For those of you that make a purchase of a call and you want to model the potential outcomes, you can put it into an options calculator. This one is an option strat, and I have it populated right here. It's the 14.50 call. This one does not expire until August, so we've got 239 days away. Let's look at what will happen if the VIX spikes. We're going to look at a couple of different scenarios. When we had the spike in October and then again in November, it was up close to 30 at the time. So if we have any kind of shock to the system, let's say maybe in the February timeframe, let's see how much these will end up paying. So remember, at this point, if you're buying it, you're paying about $700. Then if the VIX spikes up to around 30, you can see here, you'll be making over 100% return on that trade. You will make, this is your profit, $827 if it gets to 30, anywhere between that January and February timeframe. Now, if we have a bigger shock to the system and we have another 20% pull down like we did in April when the VIX spiked close to 60, then that's when we could really see significant gains. Let's look up here. This is 60. So if we do that, and maybe that happens in April around tax day, don't know if that's going to be the case, but if it does, look, you will profit almost $4,000 for each of these that you're buying that you're only paying $700 for now. Now, like I said, if you try to do this after the event has happened when the VIX is high, these will become very expensive. For instance, if you had the market spike and somebody tries to do this, let's say that the VIX gets up here to 30, so somebody panics and they want to come buy one of these. Well, something that I paid $600, $700 for, they are going to have to pay more than twice for that. That's what you're seeing right here reflected in the profit. So you don't want to be on the other side of that. You want to take care of this when things are low. Now, if the VIX stays low and we don't have any type of volatility event, then the money you're spending on insurance, it'll be gone. It'll evaporate. But it's unlikely that between now and August of next year that we don't have something that spikes this. So depending on your budget, depending on how much you want to hedge, you can buy several of these. And then every time we have some type of spike, maybe we get 25 and over, you start cashing in on some of them. Maybe you hold a few runners in case we have a larger spike. There's several different ways that you can do it. It really all depends on your budget and your risk tolerance. Now, for those of you that don't have the ability to actually buy call options on the VIX, or maybe you don't even have the budget, there is something you can do. This is the SQQQ. Now, it's a leveraged inverse play on the Qs, so you want to be careful with it. You don't want to spend too much on these or hold it for too long, but here's what you can potentially do. If you look to the April 7th time frame when the VIX spiked up to 60, look what happened with the SQQQ. It was up there close to 290, so it went up rapidly. So if you want to purchase insurance and you don't have enough to make that purchase that I just showed you, then you could look at going ahead and buying some shares of this, however many you can afford. Now, this will potentially erode over time. They have management fees, and there is this regular reset that erodes the price. So you never want to hold on to these extremely long unless you're looking at it as a sunk cost of insurance for some volatility spike. But this is one potential way to play it if you don't have the funds to play it the other way. I hope you found that helpful and you feel a little bit more put together about what the market may bring. Remember, we do not fear volatility. We do not fear red. That's what gives us the incredible opportunity to actually sell puts and get really good premium. Or if a stock drops to a low enough amount, we might just go ahead and just buy the stock. And then when it swings back up, we can get to the business of selling covered calls. There's a lot of things to do if you have the cash to do it. And for those of you that have been curious about joining our community, but you just haven't done it, go ahead and just set up a strategy call so that we can show you everything and make sure that we will help you with your goals, get where you want to be in 2026. All of my members that join, we have so much fun with them together, and they all tell me the same thing. They watched me for over a year and they finally decided to jump in, and they're so glad they did. Also, I am going to leave a video about market rotation and how some money may leave certain sectors and go into other sectors. What are those sectors? I put together a video that I think will help you prepare for that. I'm going to leave that for you right here.